the reels I use, I got 3 reels basically that I use for everything I do. This one right here, this is a Shimano Chronarch. It's a 201 E7. The 1 means left hand. I use left-hand reels. I'm right-handed, but I use a left-handed reel. The 7 means it's a 7-to-1 gear ratio. That really fast retrieve, man, if they made it 8-to-1, I'd use it too. It's just, it's so much better when you set the hook and you reel back down to gather up that line to get a hold of the fish again, to be able to catch up to that fish quickly. Or a big fish that's swimming at you, and you set the hook, they start coming at you. You don't even have to be big. A 2 or 3 pounder, when you set the hook and he starts swimming at you, he can gain a lot of line on you really fast. And that high speed retrieve, I really like that. I like the big paddle type handles. It's easy to find that handle. Sometimes it might get a stringer on it every now and then. I got a hooded jacket on, and sometimes I wind that line up there. It happens, but anyway, that reel right there, I've used it for years, and I just love that low profile. I love the way it fits in my hand, and it's just my favorite reel. I use it for everything except for a couple other reels I got right here. Moving on to past the frog here. Oh, one thing I want to talk about a little bit is, well, go ahead and talk about reels a little bit since we're already on that. Like I said, I use this reel for basically everything. The only thing I don't use it for, deep cranking. This is by far my favorite reel for deep cranking. This one right here is also a Shimano. It's a Calcutta, the DC, digital control. This is a high dollar dude. That reel right there, I've had it for maybe 7 years. I haven't done anything to it. I'm not meticulous when it comes to taking care of them, like going through and oiling them and cleaning them. This thing gets set out in the rain. It gets rode around in parking lots. It has taken a lot of abuse. It's not quite what it was, a little bit loose in there, but that reel right there has lasted me, and I have made a million casts, and not just little slow pitches. I mean, throwing it as hard as I can, as far as I can, and it's held up. I'm still amazed every time I get that reel out and start using it again at how well it's still working. It's just a testament to how. And 2 reasons I like this one for deep cranking is, one of them, it's a little slower retrieve. Now, the slower retrieve on the high speed, I love it on this. The problem is, if I'm throwing a big plug, the leverage that I'm not getting out of this reel right here, it makes it harder to reel that heavy bait in. This one right here with a slower retrieve, the bigger gears, it's easier to reel that hard pulling plug back to the boat. Doesn't mean much if I'm fishing for a little bit, but I'm fishing 5, 6, 7 days in a row, back-to-back tournaments. You might be fishing 14 days. You're going to really start to notice how much harder that is to reel in. So that's one of the biggest features I like about it. The next one is the round style holds a lot more line. The line capacity. I don't know, how many of you guys seen that Bassmasters when they got one with the long line and the strolling? That lake is where I live at, so that's something that I've done for a long time, and a large capacity. I mean, I've used the 300s too, which will hold even more line, but a large capacity to get that much line out there, get the bait that much deeper. So the 2 things I like best about that is the gear ratio and the large capacity hold line. As far as line goes, when I'm deep cranking, 10-pound test Sunline FC Sniper. The only one you need. I use it for anywhere we go, no matter how big the fish. That is the best cranking line I've used. One other reel I use is this one right here, and this one is way down the list as far as price points, but it has this feature right here, this little thumb bar on it, where you can engage and disengage the reel. The reel's engaged again. I don't have to turn the handle to engage it. It's got that little feature right there, and I love that feature when I'm flipping big, heavy mats. When I go to Florida, I'm using my 8-foot rod, or even I'm in Texas or Gunnersville. Anytime I'm flipping that grass, where I'm using at least a 1-ounce sinker or maybe a 1-ounce jig, and I'll pitch it in there, and so many times I'll pitch it in there, you disengage the reel, pitch the bait in there. You kind of got to shake it through, and as it's falling and it hits the bottom, then I just re-engage the reel right there, and I can start working the bait. It takes that whole motion out of every time I flip to do that, to get it started. Because most of the time when you're flipping that heavy grass like that, the bite comes either when it first punches through or when you first start working. It's right away. There's very few times when you sit there and just keep working it. And if you've ever set the hook on a big fish in some heavy grass and your reel's not engaged, it's a bad deal. Just take my word for it. There you go. There's a lot of that, and then there's some colorful words afterwards. So that's what I use on my and it's always spooled up with some heavy braid. I like using that for grass. I mean, you just can't beat it.